So this is session 2 of Gauntlet Quarterly. We do games for the Gauntlet Hangouts across all of the quarter. This is quarter 2 of 2018. This is Blades in the Dark, and we are playing from the Iruvian material that is present in the Blades in the Dark Special Edition, which John Harper has not yet released as a PDF for people to buy, which he ought to do. I'm just saying that again, once again, on the record. Iruvia is a Persian-themed setting. It borrows those kinds of elements, setting details, naming conventions, and all of that. Johnson Metzger has written a set of playbooks unique for the setting, and we are playing from those. We are playing on Roll20, so I will try and screen share from time to time to show what we're looking at on the page. This is, as I said, part of the Gauntlet Hangouts. You can find out more about our online gaming community at gauntlet-rpg.com. And we have well over 100 games on the calendar this month. So we are playing a group of smugglers in the largest city in Iruvia, Uduasha. And it is a city that is run by 4 families. They have control of a lot of it, each one associated with a demon prince who is legendarily frozen in a great pillar that fell from the sky hundreds and hundreds of years ago. There are 4 of those in the city. In the center of the city, at the sort of bottom of almost a crater-like area, is the well, which is a great burning flame which illuminates the city during the day, because in this world there is no sun. It is a sort of grayish haze all the time, which presents certain problems, but we ignore some of the logic of the setting just to play. So what I'm going to have everyone do is recap their character after I check with some mechanical changes, and then we'll get to talking about the play. Did anybody make any big changes of things you're like, okay, I want to shift these things around, or I want to take a different ability or anything like that? Doesn't sound like it. Remember, again, I am flexible about that. So if you find that the build that you've done is not suited to your play style once you get rolling here, feel free, and we'll make adjustments and changes to that. So let me have everyone introduce themselves then, their characters, and I'm going to start from my camera position, working from right to left. So Rich, can I have you introduce your character?
See, I always think it's going to be Sherry first, but I know her account actually starts with an A, not her actual name. So I get tricked. I'm always like, good, I go after Sherry and just ride on her coattails. I am playing Irfan Mahmoudi. He is a Rafiq, and the Rafiqs are silver-tongued, and Irfan most definitely is. He has the ability to help people plan a score by gathering information about vulnerabilities of targets, and he is a pretty good study, able to survey others, and excellent at consorting and swaying people to the will of this little cadre of allies.
Excellent. You know, I found out that the term Rafiq actually means like a friend you have travel with you. If you don't want to travel alone, you have a Rafiq travel with you. So that's where it comes from in Arabic. And let me look at your character picture again. We've got a great picture of your character there that I have to screen share briefly just because I like it so much. So we'll show that off there. Excellent.
I found that on an excellent Pinterest that was very helpful.
Oh, you mean there's a Pinterest board that has Iruvia material on it? There
is indeed.
Excellent. That's good to know. That is out there. I made Pinterest stuff for all this because I'm a goofball. Next, Matt, let's have you tell us about your character.
Yeah, I'm playing Amir, the Rakshasa. Kind of playing him as like a Revenant style character. He was just like a construction laborer, and died tragically in an accident, and awoke sometime later, being dug up by his friend Raban. Beyond that, he has a dog that appeared after he came back, and that is his constant companion now. But yeah, beyond that, I don't know too much about him yet, but I'm gonna find out real soon.
And a dog who is more friendly than perhaps your character comes off as.
Exactly. Yep.
Excellent. And then Maria, can you tell us about your character?
I am playing Farokh Mirzai. I am a Zindig, which is some sort of heretical scientist. It's also a ruse. I'm actually a member of Ankuset, House Ankuset, who is the Leviathan Hunters, I think. And I basically do mad science and shit.
Oh, you found a picture for yourself.
Yes.
Excellent. Oh,
From your Pinterest board, and apparently you know about magics because reasons.
That makes sense to me. I am for that, and looks good to me. Okay.
Are you going to share it?
Oh, I should screen share it, shouldn't I? There, for everyone at home, you can see that.
As a note, I actually have that card.
Oh yeah, it's from one of the magic sets, isn't it?
Yeah.
Excellent. Sherry, let's have you tell us about your character, the character who the gang is named after. I believe we decided last time that no one had a name, so we just called it Estes Gang for the moment. So
what? That makes no sense whatsoever. We should clearly be called the Unnamed. Okay. So Esta Sharifi, and essentially she was the wife of an academic, someone who studied rituals. He was killed, she believes, by one of his academic comrades. She herself has picked up his studies, but in her grief, she sort of found herself unmoored, and it was that she was drawn to a neighborhood figure, so the Rafiq, Irfan, and she sort of tries to guide her life by doing the things that Irfan thinks would be a good thing to do. She's sort of super capable, but she's not particularly engaged with the world as much as she probably ought to be. But she does love luxury. So particularly paintings, lovely, lovely, lovely paintings.
excellent. I like that. Acted as a vice. We'll talk about who's your presenter dealer, gets you in trouble potentially.
She's a vizier, so is what it's called. So essentially, she's good at figuring things out and can do a little magic here and there.
I want to start by talking about your lair. You have an abandoned clock tower. It is close by the sort of southern side of the city, near to the docks. You observed it for a while, and it has passage. Found some tunnels that lead out to the docks, where you have a boat that is hidden away. It is a very well camouflaged boat, so you can take the boat out to do drop-offs and meetups up and down the river from there, or go out to ships and pick up materials from there. So that's your vehicle of choice. Sherry, your how do you call this? Your lair has a feature that allows you to train with prowess better. So when players, as a downtime action, train with prowess, they actually get double points. What do you suppose that is?
The clock tower mechanisms, we've essentially been able to rig up dummies and things like that that actually use the clock tower to move in different ways. And so we can actually practice quite well with targeting and, of course, skirmish and those things. So without hurting each other, yay!
So you've got the essentially the dial is disconnected from that, but you figure out how to get that. Well, but between you and the Zindiq, that makes sense that you would be able to build such a thing. That sounds great to me. Maria, what's one thing that is interesting about the interior of this clock tower?
It's actually very modern, but it doesn't work for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like it should be working.
Oh, so the interior is kind of in good shape. The clock actually looks like a more modern mechanism, but it just doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense to me. Let me come to you, Matt Amir. The clock tower, your lair, also has the hidden feature, which is an interesting one. What is it that makes it hidden? Why don't people notice it, or what keeps it concealed from prying eyes?
I mean, the tower itself isn't hidden, but I mean the fact that it's a lair is, I would say, and just say that there's probably some sort of just very mechanically clever entrance that is just obscured from normal notice.
Oh.
Maybe some sort of trapdoor, like underneath an alcove or something, an overhang, I should say.
Oh, okay. So maybe like a clockwork mechanism that fits with that you can use to get in and out of sight of anyone. Okay, that sounds good to me. Let me ask you this then. Finally, Irfan, what is the sort of the meeting area in this clock tower like? If you have to gather together to plot or plan, is there a ground floor room, a mid room? What does that room look like?
The clock tower itself, up in near the top, there's a round room, and then there's a smaller, rounder area which is padded, lots of pillows, and we have a bit of a skylight, so it's very nice, or a moonlight if you wish. Although I know in this weird fantasy place that all the sun comes from the ground, it's still there. And that's where we can meet. There is a rounded shelf there that takes up a good third, and a lot of scrolls and books are kept there.
A little research lab, that kind of thing. Yeah, the moon, I think, is still in the sky, even though there's no sun. But the moon, of course, generates its own light, doesn't reflect. You know how that works, as things do. I imagine every once in a while it gets obscured by a Leviathan passing by, but who knows? So I want to talk just briefly about smuggling. Smuggling typically falls into one of three categories in terms of the why and wherefore of smuggling. So I just want to put this in your head for future thought. People smuggle because the tariffs or the taxes are high. They're essentially when the goods come in, they are charged, they're taxed, whatever. The prices get inflated, and so people smuggle to get around that. That's a classic thing to get around those regulations. And given that there is a strong customs house here in Uduasha, that's a very classic bit. The next thing is if something is restricted. For example, each of the families in the city has a monopoly on certain elements of trade. There are certain goods that only they are allowed to bring in. They are the only ones that are permitted to trade. Anyone else brings those in, they cannot sell them. They cannot bring them in. So there are several monopolies on different goods that they control. And of course, the four families argue over those all the time. So smuggling is a way to get around those monopolies. There may also be items that they don't want shipped out. Specialty items of Uduasha, secrets, people, special mining materials like the special reddish gunpowder that is used here in Uduasha called cinnabril. It is restricted, so they don't want to ship that out. So that's another reason there. And finally, of course, there are things that are just plain illegal, like Black Lotus or any of the other intoxicants that are considered illegal, demonic devices, things like that. So those are all three reasons to consider why someone would smuggle. Esta, let me come to you.
Okay.
Your group is a very small. I'm going to do this tiny little small smuggling group. The four of you, maybe you have somebody that you trust that can run a boat, whatever. But it's a tight group. There are probably some other organizations that are kind of on your tier or a little bit above. The sword schools are probably the closest, the ones where they have gangs that run things. But a lot of the smuggling and the higher level stuff is handled by the sort of four criminal groups, four big gangs. But there are other players like yourself, small fry smugglers, who have kind of just started out, who have some pull, but not great pull. And you guys have just been screwed by one of them. There is a guy named Gamika. Gamika. And you knew that there was a particular shipment that you were able to get your hands on to deliver. What do you suppose it is that you were going to ship essentially out of the city?
I think we had the idea that we were going to be smuggling to someone or to help someone. So I'm thinking that we're trying to get something like, I don't know, let's see here. Probably basic building supplies out, where
Okay.
those are kind of actually hard to get because they're all tunneled and funneled towards the Big Four's family stuff or through construction companies and stuff.
And the mines, and people start to ask questions when these kinds of goods get shipped out to people. And you found out that Gamika kind of jacked that job from you. Got a hold of the stuff and has kind of done that. And you've kind of had enough, right?
It doesn't take much, yeah.
Okay. So you've gone to see Gamika. And let's say it's your classic sort of like tea house / tavern. What is the name of the tavern?
How about, let's see here. How about Stars Above?
Stars Above. And you've headed in to go. You know that Gamika works upstairs. He has a room there that he operates out of. And you've gone up to confront him. And you will barge in. And you will see that Gamika's there at the table. And you will see that he has a platter of food out in front of him. And he is doing this. You have a sense he was probably doing this for a while as he choked. And his blue-faced corpse is sitting there face down in his lunch. It looks like he got a date caught in his throat.
Huh.
What do you do?
Well, I send my appropriate prayers to the stars above, since clearly that's that the thing, what is here and what can I get a hold of? Essentially, that will be valuable to our group since he owes us and now he can't pay the debt.
So let me have you do does it sound like survey to me?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure,
Just so we can connect with the roles. It is an
Yes.
information gathering, but I just want to try it out here.
Okay, sure. And then to roll here, I just do a roll 2d6, or am I hitting some sort of clever?
I think there's actually a button on your sheet.
Holy smokes. Okay, let me find it.
Yeah, you
What does
just
it look
click the where it says survey, you click
Oh.
that.
All right, here I go. I clicked it. What happens? What's my position, Lowell?
It's controlled.
Oh, awesome. That means nothing too horrible can happen until I fall down those stairs. Okay, so here we go. And it says, is it standard, limited, effect? Great, extreme, 0. I'm assuming
Standard.
Okay. And bonus die. Am I going to try really hard? Sure, I'm furious at this guy, and now he's gone and died and made things even less satisfying. So does that give
you're
me
going to
one
spend
die?
stress to give yourself an extra die?
Yes.
Okay.
Because we're supposed to engage, so I'm engaging.
Okay.
Okay, so I've given myself a bonus die, and now I'm hitting submit, and I don't know what's happened because that's a whole different.
Wow. And they got a very nice die roller.
Do they?
Look at that.
Wow, survey, a 6 and a 2. I rock.
Wait, how many dots in survey do you have? Oh,
I have
just one.
She has
One
one,
die.
and she spent stress to get another one.
Yeah, okay, cool.
So you're looking through here, and you will see the notes that he has, that he's clearly taken the materials. He's clearly gotten them for this job. It doesn't say where they are, but you can confirm that he has them. And I will say, if you want some other stuff, you can also get a coin off of this without a problem. Does that seem like fair info?
Okay, so I have no sense of where he's put them, but a coin. I mean, a coin's lovely. Sure, I will take a coin. Do we start with any coins, Lowell?
I don't think so.
Well, you start with the crew creation coins, but I guess we used a different method of crew creation.
Well, let me see. Hang on one second. That's a good question here.
Because we were also supposed to make a contact with the crew and then decide which factions are good or bad.
We don't do that in this one. They have you wait until you actually get up a tier to do that. But you guys, your group starts with 2 coin.
The group does, but not us.
Correct.
Okay, but this coin is, I guess, currently on my person. Okay, so all right, I will take the notes that I have. This is strange. So do I see, but okay, well, this is what I get, right? Or can I, is there something to, I guess, no, well, yes, I guess that's what I get.
Do you think you get a name?
Something, just a little hint. I mean, about it. It's like we kind of know him. We figured out it was him that took it. So
okay,
I'm thinking
that's fair enough. So let me give you a name of a person that is listed on this. That might be a source of info. How does that sound?
Sure, that sounds awesome.
A guy named Belit Sunu.
Belit Sunu. Okay. All right then. I will go back to Irfan because Irfan knows everyone.
So you come back and add this info to the group then?
Yes. I'll say Gramika took it. He's dead. I found some stuff. And someone named Belit Sunu.
Who killed him?
What?
Do you know who killed him?
A date. The fates. His karma.
Amazing.
I think.
You sure that no magic caused that to happen? It seems very unlikely.
And she goes, he was a pig. Did it seem unlikely to me? I mean, I am pretty good at survey. I just assumed that
It looks to you very much like he choked on a date.
if it was magic, it doesn't seem like the usual bloody, organ strewn everywhere sort of death by magic that I'm accustomed to.
Yeah, magic is not pretty.
Or subtle.
The fates have declared that we get a bit of revenge. That's great. And what is the Balitsunu? What is his involvement? Or their involvement?
Oh, tell me, Rich, who is Belitsunu?
I don't know. Well, remind me. Like I just saw Belitsunu pop up.
That was a name that Sherry found on these papers.
And these papers were
the
what?
Smuggler stuff.
Associated with the materials that he took off with.
Just tell me one thing about it, and I will fill in the rest.
I would think then that Belitsunu could be an official whose signature was on the papers, making it look official.
Absolutely. So Belitsunu is definitely the intermediary that your late friend used to probably obtain the materials. Belitsunu is pretty good, so there's a person you could talk to find out where this stuff is at. So it looks like a strong possibility.
We should speak with Bellet. It is possible that he was on the take, which could give us an in. Any official that would sign papers that were obviously smuggled.
Truth? You would know more about that than me.
Well, you don't give yourself enough credit. We have the purloined goods. Should we finish? We do not have them? We have
No, we have to find them. So Bellet may have some sense of where they are.
I see. Well, let's go and talk to him.
All right.
So what's your tactic for approaching Belitsunu?
I think everyone should go.
Okay, the whole group?
Yeah, absolutely.
And the dog?
And especially the dog.
Especially the dog.
He goes where Amir goes. Yeah.
So Amir, when the four of you find Belitsunu, where is he at? Is he at home, at the office, at a tea house, in an alley?
Yeah, I don't know if this makes sense, but maybe some sort of public place, maybe like a fountain or a park. He's in between places and taking a short break.
So he's sitting outside, feeling the heat from the flames as the four of you approach. He knows of you. If he deals with your erstwhile late enemy, he probably has crossed your path before. And he will say, Irfan, what brings the whole crew out here today?
We have a question about some goods, and they're missing. Perhaps you can help us to find them.
What kind of goods? What are you talking about? Can you give me a context for this?
I'll look to Esther and see if she can give a bit more detail.
She'll kind of lean forward and she'll go, invoice 78, fourth moon, 23.
Yes.
There's some other identifying features if you need those.
Rich, you're a good talky person. You can see that Bellet is not entirely inclined to simply tell you about this. I think because you brought everybody with you, I'm going to say your position is controlled with him, with standard effect. So, do you want to roll sway?
I will try.
Okay.
I will aid by saying that Kamika is dead, so maybe he should or they should give us the job. He, they, she, I don't know the gender. So I will mark 1 stress for that.
Okay.
And
so
you have
Rich,
an extra
you get
die.
extra die.
And how do I've got position of controlled, effect standard.
And it should ask you for a bonus dice.
Okay, and I have 1 because of the stress that was spent by Farouk. Okay, I'll do that.
Perfect. You've got a 6 there.
Cool.
It says, Kamika, he's dead? You're sure? And he looks at Amir like that's going to be the person who's going to confirm that he's dead.
Yes, Amir knows dead.
I just kind of shrug my shoulders and say, it appears that there was a mishap with a date.
It happens more than you would expect.
I've heard.
Kamika obtained the materials. He has it in his stash house. I know that. It's down on the street of Brewers. It's the red doored place. I know he has some people guarding the location because he actually is kind of just ahead of some creditors and may have lifted this out of their path. So they may be looking for it as well.
Thank you. Then we should be going.
It says, I hope that was helpful to you.
It was helpful, not as helpful as is right around the corner, but
Yes, but I gave you the information you wanted. We're all friends here then, right?
we're friends. We're friends. Perhaps more than friends later. I notice your name on the papers. We may need you at a future date.
Say, I was hoping that when all this was said and done, that those papers might be caught in some sort of fire.
So many fires.
You
The
need
town
not
is
worry.
full of them.
And that can be arranged.
Excellent, excellent. And we'll say, well, I wish you luck in getting the stuff.
Thank you. Enjoy your food.
Do not choke on the date.
I don't eat dates. Horrible things. Sometimes there are bugs inside of them. So you have a location of a warehouse. You know that there are some of Gamika's people on site. You know that there's another group that's looking for this.
Might
And
be us. Since
Well-
far we know it could be us.
Could be you, could be someone else. But you do have since this was originally your job, you do know where you need to deliver it to and the timetable for it. So this does sound like this is
Clean job.
this is a job.
Yep.
Does that sound reasonable to you four?
Yes.
Okay. So when we look at a job, we actually kind of first start by determining what kind of job it is. Or a score. I'm sorry, I say job, but I mean score. So you've got a number of choices here. Would you describe this as a job that you're going to use assault to do, like break in, beat up the guards, that kind of thing? Is it more about deception? Is it more about stealthing in? Is it more about using arcane powers or involving those? Is it about negotiation? Those are the sort of the ones that will fit with what we're doing here and getting that from the warehouse. The other part of it is transporting it. But right now we're just dealing with the sort of getting it. What do you think?
I think stealth makes sense.
Stealth or negotiation? These are Gramika's people, and he's gone now. We have the coin that he had. We can pay them off. Say this is the last thing he has for you, but those are ours, and see if that will work. We just have to get ahead of the other group that's looking for it. Alternatively, stealth.
Amir or Irfan, what do you think?
I definitely don't think assault makes sense here. Stealth works. I'm open.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I could go either way, either stealth or some sort of negotiation. Yeah.
So stealth would be essentially you'd have to tell me the point of infiltration. Negotiation, you have to tell me what the social connection you're using is. So what do you think?
Well, we have a bunch of thugs who are willing to work for a small timer like Gamika. Work small timers. If they want to have work in the future, we're not bad people to deal with. And it wouldn't be bad to have some thugs and/or guards to call upon in the future. And we have a coin. That's what we got. That coin. Well, and don't get me wrong. And we have Irfan, negotiator extraordinaire.
Irfan, does that seem fair to you?
Yeah, that seems fair.
Yeah. So as it looks like you're going to kind of make contact with these guards, try and get them to be willing to let you have the stuff, and do it quickly before anyone else knows you've got it. Transport it to the person that's a buyer, and it should be good. All in and out, clean, like the wind, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the way we do this is we do an engagement roll.
And
And
pick your load, right? We pick our load.
sure, I usually do the engagement roll first, but you guys can choose
okay,
your
okay.
load. It's either way. So what load means is you can choose whether you have, there, I'm going to pull up, whether you have the load limit for this. And so let me see, it's not, of course, on that
Light,
sheet.
normal, or heavy, which is 3, 5, or 6.
Yeah, oh, that's right. It's up at the top. So the way they do this is essentially you can have 3 items during play, 5 items, or 6 items. You don't have to decide on them. You just have those many items, and you can mark them off during the op. Why would you choose less stuff? Because when you have a light loadout, you aren't noticeable. People don't go, hey, those people are going on an operation. When you have a normal or even a heavy load, normal people who are in the know would spot that you're doing something odd. Heavy, you are hunting for bear. So everybody can set that reasonably easily if you'd like.
Each individual person sets the load.
Yes.
Okay. And where do I put that?
Oh, you could. There's a box just under your character type name, like Vizier or Rafik. You can see there's got the load.
Okay.
So we'll do an engagement roll to see where we actually start the scene out for our score here. We start out with 1 die. I don't think it's particularly bold or daring or complex. Sounds to me like you guys are handling things pretty steady, right? I don't think it exposes a vulnerability or its particularly strongest. Does anybody have any friends or contacts that can provide aid or insight into this operation?
Oh.
Now, some of you have friends that you've chosen.
Could a courtesan help?
Tell me how.
She could have customers who are involved in protecting this place.
Sure. What's her name again?
Is Nusha. Nusha.
Nusha. Yeah. So we'll say that she knows who some of these people are, their proclivities, their tastes. She can give you some information on them. Who amongst them you want to be talking to? She says we want to talk to Legia. He's the only one with kind of a brain amongst that group. So it gives us an engagement roll. It gives us 2 dice, 1 for friends or contacts, and 1 for the basic luck. So someone needs to roll 2d6, and that will tell us where you're at when all this goes down.
Badly. I rolled a 2 and a 1.
All right. Perfect. So, Rich, Irfan, you have gone down with the group. I assume everyone has come with you to speak with the gang members.
Of course.
Is everyone in the same position, or are some people back? How do you imagine? May I ask Amir and Farouk, Esta?
I think I'll be elsewhere trying to find an alternative way in case this goes badly, which
Okay.
it will. So.
All right, absolutely. Okay, and Amir?
I'll say Amir is, he's just standing by Irfan's side, just kind of casually petting my dog on the head.
All right. And Sherry, what about you?
I probably am serving sort of as a lookout.
Okay.
So.
Legia has been listening to you talk here for a bit, Irfan, and hey, he's trying to been delaying here because he clearly maybe isn't sure that Gamika is dead, and you've just come in here, and he's like, I don't know. That's if I just let you in and have this stuff, who's going to hire us again? If I just give it up, no one's going to hire a guard who just hands things off like that.
We might hire you.
I'm going to cut from there to Farouk. You have walked around the corner because you're looking for another way in.
Yes.
And you've walked into the middle of a group of people, kind of turned the corner, kind of walked. And you can see that one of them is up climbing into the window of this warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
And the other 4 who are there, they have that kind of sort of low-level thug sash. Maybe they're one of the sword school gangs. They certainly don't have their symbols out. But one of them draws and stabs you. So kind of come around the corner and you're getting stabbed.
All right. I will not like that, so I
Okay.
will resist.
Okay, go ahead and resist that consequence.
I'm trying to think if I can use insight on this. Like, maybe I saw it coming because it's like there's a bunch of thugs and they're clearly thug-like. So, does that make
yeah,
sense?
this is the first roll of the game. I'll let you try to resist with insight.
And that's 2 stress instead of 6.
Okay. So what does that look like?
So he's coming from behind, right? And I see these thugs.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, so I think I also see the shadow of the guy coming in. So I just quickly sidestep and then and then try to run away.
Okay. Kind of sidestep and move away.
Yeah.
So I think you're trying to this is a desperate position here, and you're trying to get clear, right?
Yes.
So what do you think that is to get away? Finesse?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will push myself.
All right. So let's have you roll a desperate finesse roll.
All right.
Standard success.
All right, and 1 bonus die. That does not work.
Okay. So essentially,
I get an experience though because it was
you do
desperate.
get an experience point as they tackle you and knock you to the ground.
All right.
Irfan, there's a moment when you're talking to Legia when you realize he is stalling us.
Esta's with me, yes?
Not far off. She's looking down the street the other way, though.
Amir is with you.
Okay, good. Amir, let's go. It's a waste of our time.
And he seems relieved that, and kind of steps back and checks out the street there. What do you do?
I'm walking up to Amir and I'm saying, I think you need to hurt him and we need to get inside.
I think at this moment, I'm going to try communicate with my dog.
Okay.
Since we have that mind link kind of thing going on. So as Irfan starts to talk to Amir, I'm playing it off like I'm distracted and I'm not holding the dog. And as soon as I break contact with him, he bolts past the guard and just right into the building.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And I'm gonna just like I'm play acting, and I say, he saw a rat, something. I have to go get him, and I'm just gonna push past the guard.
Okay.
Attempt to push past the guard.
So you're giving yourself an excuse, but you are kind of pushing past him with some physicality, right?
Sure.
Does that seem like skirmish?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's the sort of the physical push around here. So you can roll that. I think we're.
Can I assist with that?
How would you assist?
Well, essentially, since I've seen everything sort of start, I can kind of hear them starting to do. I will come up and essentially create another distraction for the guard as I sort of come up very rapidly with my own hand on the blade. So now he's got 2 people he's trying to deal with. I haven't attacked him. I'm just coming at him as well, not like coming up rapidly. So. Okay.
Go ahead and spend that stress, and you will get an extra die on your roll there, Matt.
All right. So how do I roll? It looks like I just click on skirmish.
Yeah, click on skirmish, and it's going to ask you some questions.
Okay. All right. So this is. So what's my position here?
So it's a risky position.
Got it.
Standard effect.
Okay. And 1 bonus die. Oh, wow.
So
Good job.
I think you're going to push him aside, and you will get in the door into this warehouse, and sort of as soon as the dog is in and you kind of push past, you will see that there are some people inside that are stacking things up near one of the windows, like they're preparing stuff to like be hoisted out of here. And probably through the windows, you're also hearing like the sound of some scuffling. So you've gone and done that. You've headed in. Let's come back to you, Maria. I know that Estes outside. Irfan, I'm going to come back to you after I talk to Maria. Maria, so right now the cost is that these people are smashing you to the ground, and they're going to try to keep a hold of you here.
All right.
So that's the consequence you're facing, is essentially getting tied up.
So the consequence is me getting tied up. I want to. I'll try resisting with resolve. Like, I don't want to be tied up.
Oh yeah. Okay. That seems fair.
Right. And I stress out.
Okay. So does that take all your stress then?
Yeah.
Okay. It does succeed, but you stress out. So what happens?
So I think I start screaming and yelling, and then I push them away and run at a random direction.
Okay. So Irfan, this guy's got knocked over. Estes near you. You're there, and you will hear the sound of Farouk screaming and running down the side from the building. It kind of bounces off the corner and kind of staggers out into the street and looks roughed up.
And I'm sorry, just trying to make sure I look. So Farouk is not really. No, Farouk is definitely tougher than I am. Okay, just trying to get that as a gauge. Glance at Esta. Go in or run?
We need the stuff. And she sort of goes to step over. Farouk, do you have like all your bottles and alchemical stuff on you?
I'm stressed out. I'm out of the scene for now.
Oh, okay. All right. So let's see here. I think Lowell, can I use command like as a bluff attack? Like essentially if I step around the thing, I have arcane implements and find spirit mask. I can put those on and look like I'm going to cast some pretty scary magic, and essentially I'm going to try to scare them off. These guys back in a back alley. Does that sound doable?
Yeah, I will say that your position is desperate.
Okay.
But I will say those implements will make it so, I mean, you can actually, I mean, if they take it seriously, they're going to kind of freak out because suddenly there's a person. What's your mask look like?
I think that it does that thing where, let's see here. It adds to her face like this horrible demonic snarl, so that essentially when she steps out, she doesn't look like a person. She looks like a demon.
Okay.
I mean, is kind of that thing, just like those Mempo masks that have that lower part of the face. So,
and of course, it's dimly lit out here. Got that fire, that
red fire
catches
on the brass. Yeah.
Let's have you make that roll then.
Okay. I will push. Let's see here. So this is command. Okay. I'm not having the little roll thing pop up. So it must be somewhere. Sorry. Come on. Okay, I'm going to just roll it.
Oh, okay. We can just, when you click on command, it isn't popping up?
No. And it might be popping up somewhere, but it's behind some windows or something, but I don't see where.
Okay, I can roll it for you if you want.
Okay, sure. Go ahead and roll it for me.
Okay,
I have a command of 1. I pushed. I have arcane implements and a spirit mask that I'm using. which is, a chunk of my gear.
So you get a 6.
Yes.
So they've tried to chase this person, and like one or two of these people that were chasing immediately after Farouk are suddenly brought up short. Suddenly, there's this figure comes out of nowhere, and they will step back, and they don't know what's going on. This wasn't what the plan was. This wasn't what they were expecting. Irfan, what are you doing?
I'm really confused. So there's the street and
so imagine that there's the alley that Maria went around to check and see what's going on. She ran into some folks there, got chased out. Sherry ran to the mouth of that alley and has scared those people. Amir has gone inside, where Amir has seen that some of the guards people are clearly like in cahoots with those people outside and are loading things up.
Okay, so if Esta looks like she's got command in making sure that Farouk's not in a great deal of trouble, I'll just follow Amir.
Okay. So is there anything you want to do when you go inside? You'll see Amir has come in here. There are people stacking up stuff like they're going to hand stuff out to people going out the window there. Or do you just want to back up Amir's play?
Yeah, I'll back up Amir's play.
Okay, that makes sense. Amir is good at these kinds of things. Amir, what do you do?
So I think I'm gonna try and intimidate these guards. I'm just gonna just reach into my bag, and I'm gonna pull out my saw. I have a kind of a creepy looking. It's like a Japanese style carpenter saw. It's like got a longish handle and then a equal size blade on the other end, and it's got lots of fine teeth on it. And
okay.
So I pull this out. The dog starts barking, baring his teeth, and I just kind of I make eye contact with one of these guards, and I say, "You're giving these crates to the wrong people. I think you should give them to us." And I'm just trying to convey. I'm like, normally when I'm trying to get by, I try to pass for someone who's fairly normal, but right now I'm not. I'm just trying to convey the full creepiness of my existence.
Okay. These guys aren't particularly armed. There are only a couple of them, so I say it's just a risky position for you with standard effect. So what does that give you for command?
All right, so command risky. Sorry, you said risky with standard effect?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so that's a 3.
Okay. So they're not taking you seriously, more that they're sort of instinctually reacting, and they come at you. Like, maybe they think they can overpower you, and essentially they go and they grab at that saw, and they're going to take that away from you. Is going to be the consequence here. That they're kind of on you, and they're going to take that away. Now, you can resist that if you want.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to read. I think I read that situation for what it is. Like, I see this coming, and I'm almost going to let them think they can do it, and I'm just going to, at the last minute, just kind of move and just slash it at whoever's reaching for it.
Okay.
Can I back him up in his resistance, or should I have gone when he did his original roll?
So you can aid when they do their rolls. Resistance rolls are a separate thing.
Okay.
And I probably should have stopped and asked you if you were helping. So that's on me for that. But Amir, you can make a resistance roll. It does sound like prowess here.
Okay. Okay, and so that's just the category. Okay, got it.
Yep.
All right, and nothing for bonus dice, correct?
Nope.
All right, again, a 3.
Okay, so that means you'll spend 3 stress, and you've still got a hold of your weapon. They haven't grabbed you. They haven't dragged you to the ground. They haven't taken your weapon away. I'm going to come back and check in with you two in just a second. I want to see what's going on with Sherry. Sherry, these guys are kind of held in place here. Got some breathing room. They don't know what's going on. The people inside have stopped talking to them. What do you want to do? You're muted.
I want to finish them. I want to make this go badly for them and frighten them off.
Okay.
So essentially, I can do the same thing. Let's see here. I can bring to bear a blade that I'll pull out now at this point.
Okay.
I think, and take a run at them. Well, God, no, you know what? I don't want to use a blade because they're sword people, don't I? So I want something that looks unusual. So probably a wavy dagger, like a kind of thing that looks extra scary.
Okay.
And Jesus.
So describe to me this unusual weapon.
This is a ritual weapon, you know, so it is like one of those. It's not like blood magic, but it's one of those things that has the brass down it. And of course the brass, because it's in this firelight, it glints that crazy red, so it looks like flowing blood when it does that. And she will, you know, essentially lift that up and sort of like point it towards them like she's starting to cast. So and I do in fact have all of those skills. I have a tune and all of that stuff. So can I use that to make a very convincing thing that she's casting at them?
But not actually casting?
Not actually casting.
Okay.
I'd say if you're going to fake, but you got the skills.
You're following up from what you set up last time. Mm-hmm. So I think this is going to be a risky position.
Okay.
Standard effect. Essentially, it'll get them to, they weren't expecting this kind of thing.
Okay.
So if you succeed, you can get them to scatter for the moment.
Okay. And I still can't get that little box to come up again. I don't know where it's gone to.
I think it's hidden behind windows. Check behind your windows.
I have, but
and I
don't see where it could be minimized.
Sure. Risky, standard, no bonus dice. So I'm making this roll for you.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
1 or 2.
So I will say that most of them take off. But there's one of the guys who got his knife already into Farouk. And he's kind of excited for blood. And he doesn't go. And in fact, he's going to stab you for a minor wound.
I'll resist that.
Okay, please do.
And do I resist with what skill I just used or with something else?
Prowess, I think, is appropriate for this, unless you have some other way you're evading the blade that you want to describe to me.
I can use prowess. It's okay. I've got a die, so it's just 1d.
Yes.
So 1d6. I'm sorry, it's not as beautiful as these things, but so I got a 4, which means it cost me 2 stress.
2 stress.
Okay.
So you've just got this one guy who's up on you. Tell me how it is that is it just pure luck? Is it some instinct that gets you out of the way there?
Oh, hell no. I have so when he does that, I actually do parry with my blade.
Okay.
Okay. So that's the other thing is she doesn't fold or crumple or anything else.
So I'm going to cut back inside. These 3 guys rush Amir. And Amir kind of dodges away before they can get a hold of the blade. They kind of thought they would knock him down, but they didn't succeed. And then through the open window, you can hear the screaming of people running in the alley, like something has happened out there and they are taking off. And maybe you heard some weird chanting in Esta's voice. So Amir and Irfan, what do you want to do?
What's a common name in Udwasha for a person who uses magic?
Oh, gosh, what should we call that? Like a term, or do you want to?
Like a term. Like, just to tell you, Urfin's going to say, yes, I hear our sorceress, or I hear our
Infernalist.
summoner. Good. I hear our infernalist is taking care of that trouble. You should run.
Do you think that's a command or sway?
I think I'm trying to sway them, yeah.
Okay.
Charm, logic, deception, disguise, or bluff. I think that's what I'm trying to do.
Okay. So I think we're risky, standard
Yeah.
effect.
Yep. Okay. That feels. And then there's something about spending stress to get an extra die or something.
Yes.
Yeah, you spend 2 stress to get an extra die. Or you have a devil's bargain, which we haven't done at all yet.
Yeah.
No idea what that means. I'll do
So
the 2
devil's
stress.
bargain is that I say, well, I'll give you an extra die.
I see.
And then I try to talk you into that.
Sure. Okay, I'll do this with the bonus die. I'm taking 2 stress.
Okay.
That looks like it's not good.
So they don't react well to that at all. And they are, I think here now, they're kind of holding position and blocking your way to the goods. And that guy who was behind you, that you kind of pushed out of the way in the first place, Leja, kind of comes up from behind and grabs you and kind of puts his strong arm around your throat. And essentially the consequence here is that he's going to kind of grab you up to hold you as a hostage. Now, you can resist that consequence if you'd like.
I would like to resist that consequence.
Okay, tell me how. Are you doing that through glib tongue or through physicality or having spotted it coming?
I'm assuming that glib tongue is resolve.
Mm-hmm.
Physicality is prowess, and spotting it coming is insight.
Yeah.
Even though I'm better at resolve, I think insight is what feels right here. So I'll try that. Do we need to click any buttons other than insight to make that go?
I don't think so.
Okay, and then I don't have any bonus dice?
I don't think so.
Okay.
It takes you 1 stress to do that.
Okay, I do that thing.
Okay, so how does that work? Is it that what does that look like? The guy comes running in as you're talking to them. Amir's getting himself kind of into position, and this guy goes to grab at you and choke you out. What happens?
I duck underneath, and all he gets is my turban.
Okay, so he's got a hold of that, and he's looking around for you. It is a warehouse, so there are lots of crates in the warehouse, but they're fancy crates. So if this was a shooter, you'd have plenty of cover.
Nice.
Amir, situation has gotten a little more complicated. These 3 guys look like they're staying their ground. The guy who was outside has come in to try and choke out your partner. But it does sound like the situation outside has been taken care of.
Yeah, I think I am going to yeah, I want to look around for something I can take advantage of here.
Sure, what would that be?
Yeah, I mean, it's a warehouse. It's full of crates. Maybe there's something I can knock over, unrelated to the goods that were. Yeah, maybe just a rack of shelves or something. I'm gonna try and just knock this over.
Sure. So want to knock that over? Like, what's your intent for what he would have happen?
I guess I want to make it easier for them to give us what we want. Like that's going to be the path of least resistance for them. Like if I just start trashing the place, yeah.
Okay. So you're still being scary. Do you have any goods or anything that's items that you brought that are assisting with your doing of this?
I'm not sure. So I should have had a bonus dice for my weapon. I wasn't paying attention last time, but yeah, I don't know if that makes sense in this situation.
Well, what it is like if you have a weapon, what it does is it kind of affects your position, like it
right
changes things. So,
right.
So let's walk through. So one of the things you could do is get that scary weapon or tool. Can you describe how you're using that to take that down to help with your position here?
Right. Yeah, I don't know if that one makes sense right now. So maybe I'll just dig into some of the other bag of tricks I have.
Okay.
Yeah, so I pull out a we'll just say somehow I have a sledgehammer,
Okay.
and I use that to just knock out one of the legs of this rack of shelves. And as I do it, I'm saying, it's a shame. It would be a shame if something happened to the rest of your goods here, and just crack this leg and watch the shelves tumble over.
Interesting. Okay, so you've got item. So I think that kind of raises your effect level up, which would be limited because of your where you're at right now. But I think it's going to give you standard effect. Would actually get them to cheese it. But I do think this is a desperate position here. You're kind of in a dangerous setting where there's some serious consequences. Does that seem fair?
Totally. Yep.
So you're using command, right?
Can I help? I'm
Yes.
trying to get in early. Okay, cool.
Absolutely.
I'm going to help. What do I need to do to help? Spin stress or something?
Yes.
2 stress or 1 stress?
It is. Check this with teamwork. When you are assisting, you take 1 stress.
Okay.
And how are you assisting with that?
So, Amir, what you're using command? What were you going for again? Like telling them, hey, they need to GTFO because this has gone in a bad way, kind of thing?
Yeah, I'm just gonna start wrecking the place. Yeah. And I'm assuming they have some sort of. These guys are guards, right? They have some sort of responsibility to.
Oh,
Yeah,
I kick over the broom.
this place
There's a
going
broom,
down.
and I just kick over the broom. I'm wrecking stuff too.
Okay. So command roll, a bonus die from Rich.
And I'm sorry, was that desperate?
Desperate standard effect.
Standard 1 bonus. All right. So 2 and a 4.
Okay. Let me take a look here on this command. So this guy Leisha, you see, he like gestures to those guys and gestures for them to step back.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, now, okay, good. Sorry.
Yeah, this guy. And he looks at you too. And he goes, all right, you take this stuff, but we're not done with this. I will be back on you, both of you. And he backs away. So I think you've made an enemy here. And the way that works is I essentially put a clock on the table with this guy who is pissed at you.
I didn't come here to make friends.
Fair enough. So we'll put a 6-section clock here with this guy, Leisha, who is pissed at you. Sherry.
Yes.
Outside This guy's tried to stab you. He parried his blow. What do you want to do?
Well, let's see here. I mean, as I understand it, there's no such thing as casting on the spot, correct? So essentially my thing is I can't study him into things. So I guess I will try fighting him.
Okay.
Unless I can use my... since I've used these other things, I assume that I can't continue to use the same ability. So I will, in fact, take a swing at him with this dagger and see if I can scare him off that way.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure. Let's have you make a roll. Essentially, the consequence you're looking at is taking some damage when you get into this skirmish with him.
Okay.
So risky.
Okay.
Standard effect.
Okay. Well, you get to roll for me.
Okay.
So sorry, it just
That's okay.
stopped working.
Let me get your sheet up here real quick. We'll figure it out at the break, okay?
Okay.
So skirmish, risky, standard effect, no bonus dice. Scroll down here to see what that is. So I think you've got him in a standoff right now. Like, he's not willing to run, but he's kind of staying by you, like he's waiting for an opening to put a knife in you right now. Does that seem like a fair reduced effect?
Okay, so it's a reduced effect.
Yeah. Essentially,
okay.
he's not stabbing you. He's not getting any forward progress, but essentially, you guys are kind of deadlocked up here.
Okay. All right. Okay. Sure. So that just means that's it. We're just deadlocked. Okay. So I can't resist the deadlock, can I? I'm just trying to ask.
No, I don't think you can resist that.
Okay.
Because it's not like a direct consequence you're suffering here.
Awesome.
It's sort of the effect here. But the situation may change here.
Okay.
So essentially right now, this guy's held by you. So we come back to Amir and Irfan. These guys take off, but you still don't know where Esta is at.
Did we hear her through the window?
Yeah, you probably hear the sound of the fighting going on out there.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm gonna send the dog up to climb up atop the crates and just look out the window and see what we see.
Esta's circling with this sword student, this gang member. He's got a short blade. She's got a wicked ritual blade. She's got her full demon mask on, and they are just kind of circling out there in the alley.
I mean, I'm just gonna look to Irfan and say Esta and gesture outside, and she needs our help and bolt outside.
We circle back for the stuff. She's more important.
Okay. So you two come chasing out to essentially present yourselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think at that point, when this guy realizes he's outnumbered 3-1, he was fine when he was outnumbering one lone person 5-1, and even 1-1 he was okay with. But now he's got no backup, and so he does this kind of stab at you to get some space there, Esta. And then runs, and he will take off.
All right.
Let me cut back to Farouk. What do you think? You kind of freaked out. The situation threw you. How do you catch your breath here?
How close are we to the lair, and mainly to the boat?
Yeah, you could probably dash a few blocks from here to get over into the passageway down to the boat. Do you want to do that?
Yeah, because my next step is to get the boat to that location. Hopefully, the situation will be resolved by then.
Okay. Essentially, you go, get yourself steadied.
Yeah.
You wanted to impress. What are you feeling? Are you angry? Are you scared? What do you think is your reaction right now?
I'm looking everywhere because I took paranoid, so I'm like double checking my like surroundings and stuff.
Yeah, like you've never gotten jumped like this before,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll make your way down to the boat.
Mhm.
So tell me, you three, Amir and Irfan and Esta, once you get a hold of these goods, what do you have with you to transport them?
First thing is I have my one ritual that's already known and is the standard, and that's the essence of burden, where I can make things that have been, essentially grouped together, tiny. They have the same weight, but they're small. So we can use like a small but very essentially move them onto a cart, but it's only this little thing. It doesn't look like we've taken all of these things, provided that we can, lash them all together.
So tell me what doing that ritual actually looks like.
Let's see here. It's weird because essentially what it does is it pulls. It's like she carves out a circle around the thing, like with her blade. So it's just like the circle. And then what happens is on that circle, you see dust start to swirl and follow the circle. And then it starts to kind of dance up and sort of coalesce around the stuff that is going to be shrunk. And then there's a kind of whoof where it looks almost like it's all the stuff that was in the center. And by that, I mean all of its matter kind of actually sort of bursts out is what it looks like. But it's only sort of a visual sort of mist cloud. And then there's just a little package left there. So it has this whole thing of like this dust. It goes inwards, and then it all explodes out. But all the container stuff, all of it has gone out with it when it does the explosion.
All right. And since you've got the equivalent of a wheelbarrow, probably, now that you can put the stuff in. It's heavy.
Extraordinarily heavy, but once we get it going.
So, Amir or Fawn, as you're moving through the streets with this wheelbarrow filled with miniaturized crates, what does that look like?
Comical?
How so?
We got these like little bitty crates. We're desperately running. I've still got a few strands of the turban that I'm trailing behind me, like someone who has the toilet paper on their heel from the bathroom and they don't realize it. We don't look like we're in great shape. I've taken a lot of stress, so I'm probably wigged out, and we're just trying to cheese it to the boat.
Okay.
Hoping that someone hasn't stolen the boat.
Amir, what is your approach here?
I'd say I'm maybe not far ahead of everyone, but I'm just a little bit ahead, trying to keep an eye on things and make sure we don't run into any obstructions or anyone who might question what we're doing.
Okay. You can get back to your place and go down through the tunnels. You see the signs that tell you that Farouk came back as per the plan to make sure the boat was set up. So by the time you guys roll this insanely heavy wheelbarrow down these tunnels, what are these tunnels like? Sherry, what is it? What do we see here in our shot?
I think that they are something that was left from before the clock tower was there. like something else was there, and they have like sort of old, ancient, worn stone steps. I mean, as was mentioned, the clock tower itself is kind of modern on the inside. These cellars and the tunnel thing that goes out, it's older than the city itself. It seems like it's like the stairs all have that sag in it from having been walked up so many times. There's ruts in the tunnel going down there. It's like things like the walls are kind of worn smooth just from people brushing against it for so many centuries. It's very, very old, and it feels old and smells old.
And since there are stairs, is probably the having to lift these things, maybe having to take it down in stages, down these steps in places, which probably looks as absurd as Irfan was saying earlier, as you carry a crate. But the three of you will emerge out, and you will see the boat. Tell me, Rich, what makes this boat camouflaged? Is there a netting? Is it paint? Is it magical disguise? What makes it sort of hidden from sight?
I think maybe there's a netting that hides it at night. It's very dark and not at all shiny.
All right. And Farouk, when they come out with this wheelbarrow, what do they see you? How do you look?
Fucked up. I just ran here pretty much, and basically catching my breath.
Yeah. So Farouk is sitting there, shaky, tired, and just kind of waiting and not saying anything.
We need to go. I hope that you are all right. Do you need aid?
No, I am fine. I'm fine.
We'll get this delivered and we'll go get tea.
Yes, that sounds good.
So you can load this up on here. Does your dog like the boat?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the dog it's generally very cheerful and positive about everything, unless he's angry at someone.
Puts its head out the side as the boat goes along. Okay. Tell me, Amir, you're transporting this. Are you transporting this to a ship that's out in the harbor? Are you transferring it to a point downstream? Where are you delivering these goods?
Yeah, I think maybe just like a small spit of land that's only above the. Normally, like at a high tide, it would be underwater, but this is a lower tide right now, and it's an agreed mating place, and it doesn't really exist, doesn't show up on any maps or anything like that, but it's like a small rocky shoal that is exposed at low tide right now.
Okay. So you four roll up. There's another boat there, and a small group of people waiting, essentially with cloaks and dimmed lanterns. As you roll up, they look at you, Irfan, you, Esta, and the leader woman goes, "Where's Gamika?"
He died.
Very unfortunate. A bad date.
Kind of looks at you like, okay, you guys are serious. Murdering the competition. You see that go through her head. She's got a scar on her face. She's clearly like a rebel fighter, so she has a certain amount of respect for that. And she'll kind of watch. Do you resize the goods on the boat beforehand, or do they resized now, Sherry?
I figure that there's a time limit on it, so it's like we might be able to get them to shore before they get bigger, but at some point they are going to increase, go back.
Okay.
So maybe like when, like 2 hours later or something like that.
They'll unload the crates, and this woman will look at you guys and will say, okay, well, this looks like the goods we were promised. Kind of eyes you guys up and counts out the 6 coin. That's the price you saw on the other document. So she's not trying to cut the payment at all. And she'll count out those coins and hand those off to you. Who are you guys?
We still haven't come up with a name for our group, right? I think we
Yeah.
were calling ourselves Estes.
No.
We're Estes troublemakers.
That is not good.
All right. Fair enough. All right. Well, we may come back and talk to you then if we need other things.
Good. Good. It was great working with you.
And she'll hand those coins off to you, and you have 6 coin. We're going to take our break here, 5 minutes. When we come back, we'll look at the whole payoff, heat, downtime, all of that stuff that comes after a job. Okay?
I need coffee.
I had way too much coffee earlier.
It doesn't help that I had such shitty rolls that I stressed out immediately when the thing started. So
Well, and I had forgotten that you take the trauma when you mark your last stress box.
yeah.
Because we've always played it when you go over.
No,
so I was a little surprised. But it is when you mark the last one. I checked that.
Yeah, and yeah, I marked the last one. I didn't go over. But yeah.
I will say it's very different with a 4-person crew versus 6-person, because when we play 6-person, there's a lot more people to absorb the stress, and it certainly affects things that way.
Yeah.
So I'm going to walk through the whole payoff thing. So the group has 2 coin to start because you didn't spend any of that. And you're going to get 6 coin.
Yeah, I think we have to divide it. We divide it because we only have a stat. The crew can only carry 4 coins. We don't have vaults.
Exactly. So, is it cool with everybody taking 1 coin then from the payoff?
I'm fine with that.
Okay. And then we'll put the other 2 in the group's vaults, which is as much as you can hold. You have 4 coin in there.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are going to get 2 rep for the successful job.
All right.
Is that something we mark on our sheet, or is that the crew?
I'm actually marking that on the crew sheet.
Okay.
So essentially, you get 2 rep. Determines how that is, how excited people are. I do think, however, that this job was a little bit louder than you intended, right?
Definitely.
So you're actually going to get 4 heat.
-1 because we get the -1 thing from just passing through.
Ooh, very nice. So just 3 heat. That's actually good because that is 1 less. It goes down to the next tier there. And your wanted level is 0. So this is all mechanical things.
There are a ton of moving parts to this game. I was not expecting that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the 1 result.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I'm just making sure.
Sure. So Sherry?
Yes.
Who's your friend?
My friend is the explorer.
Okay.
So essentially, he was a friend of both I and my husband's. He's an academic as well. He was out of town when everything went bad.
Okay. So here's what's going to happen, and it's not silly to you. So what we do at the end of a job is we do the payoff, we do the heat, and then I roll an entanglement.
Okay.
And essentially the Yolim, essentially the guard, are going to grab up somebody at the periphery of your group. Either a friend or a vice purveyor for one of you. And one of you can put somebody forward, and we roll to see what happens to that. And Sherry, you should move those candies away from your microphone.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, because I'm.
I thought you were counting out metallic coins.
I know, and it's
that's part of the game. I'm like, wow.
I was sorry, I was fussing with those.
I've got a little steampunk skull downstairs for the other game. It's a bank. I put coins in it.
So you want to for some reason, grab up an explorer, an academic?
No. So here's what happens is one of you needs to put forward either one of your vice purveyors or one of your friends that gets grabbed up for questioning.
Okay.
I'll volunteer somebody.
Okay, so
I can volunteer the madman.
Matt spoke first, so let's go get that. Who's your friend? Is the guy who dug you up, right?
Yeah, I was thinking more along the lines of a vice purveyor.
Oh, sure. Who is your vice? What is your vice?
I'm gonna say it's it's gambling, and I'm gonna
Okay.
say specifically. And so, do I only have one vice purveyor, or
So it's
can I spread it around
until you make until you screw it up, your relationship up with them, and then you have to get another vice purveyor.
Okay. All right. So I do have one. All right. So
Okay.
his name is let's see, Naveed.
Naveed.
And he runs a dice game that I frequent.
Okay. And so there is that thing where Naveed is there and the Ialim show up and they ask him questions about you. Who is this guy? We heard he runs with a dog. Is it the dog that's in charge or is it him? They're asking him all of those kinds of questions.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll make a fortune roll, which is just roll me a d6.
Okay. All right, I rolled a 6.
Okay. This guy is experienced with this kind of thing. He listens to it. No, he's just a gambler. The normal guy. He has a dog. It's a very friendly dog. The dog comes to the game sometimes. And he talks to them. He spends a couple of hours there. And we probably cut to him telling you about being questioned. And he will say, what is exactly you're into that they should come and grab me up?
Well, first of all, I am very sorry that this came back to you. And I have certain associates that I work with, and we perhaps got in a little over our heads on a recent job.
It's very difficult for me to imagine you getting in over your head. I mean, you're always so steady when it comes to the dice, to the cards.
Indeed. Yeah. Well, there's as many possibilities that there are with the dice. That there are many more in the real world, so to speak.
Look, this is not the first time I've been taken in by the Alim. It won't be the last time. But I hope they don't grab me again to ask about you.
Well, I as well. And I deeply appreciate your discretion.
It's more that I had nothing to tell them.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's keep it that way. And I wink at him.
All right. So we go to, what we're going to do is the mechanical downtime phase. And then we'll kind of check in with people on things. So during downtime, you get to do two things. One of the obvious things is that you can indulge in your vice to clear your stress. So I'm assuming everybody has stress they want to clear, right? So let's take it as a given that that's going to be your first action. So
for me, it's not because my stress cleared when I got drama.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. We'll come back to. I'm gonna do this. The three of them for stress. I'm gonna come to you last. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, that sounds fair.
Okay. So tell me, Irfan, when you want to relax, what is it that you do? What is your vice that you indulge?
My vice is pleasure, but sometimes I go to the theater and enjoy art. So I think I will go to see a show.
So the way that you do this is you choose your lowest attribute, whether that's insight, prowess, or resolve.
I think both insight and prowess are 1 and resolve is 2, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So you roll a d6, and that is how much you're going to get back in terms of stress.
There's an indulge vice button. Should I hit that?
Yes.
I have no bonus dice, so... Oh,
Okay.
I rolled a 4, I guess.
Yeah. So you clear 4 stress.
I clear all my stress. I had exactly 4.
Oh, see that? Let me tell you why that's good, Rich. Because if you'd actually cleared more stress than you had, then you overindulge. I'm assuming that the shows would have led to some drinking, maybe some partying with some actresses, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it did not. So
Okay.
you go to musical theater, or do you go to plays, or do you go to operas? What is your...
Actually, if it turns out that Nusha is free, I would take her to perhaps a show that she would enjoy. I think she's probably not into high art. Maybe it's something more like a play. It's a bit more bawdy.
So maybe something like, I love the idea that maybe they have the theater with like the shadow puppets. There's all that idea about fire and shadows.
Nice.
They have, and they tell like classical stories. Maybe have some moving pictures behind, that kind of projection and thing.
I like it.
Yeah. So and she enjoys that. Most of her clients don't bother to take her out to see the city itself. So
They're
she appreciates
fools.
that. Let's come then to Amir, as your friend says. Well, enough with this talk about the guard. Is it dice, cards, or something else to your pleasure this evening?
Yeah, I think it's dice, definitely.
Okay. Then let's have you go ahead and roll to indulge your vice.
All right. I rolled a 4, so I have overindulged.
Okay.
This is exciting.
So you have a choice. You can attract trouble. I roll another entanglement. You brag about your exploits, which increases your heat. We won't do lost, where you would have to play a different character. Or your current purveyor cuts you off.
I think the first option makes sense.
All right. So I will come back on that rivals thing is what I'm going to do. Okay.
All right.
Come back on that in a bit. Sherry, what about you?
I sure go to see beauty. I go to see.
And what is that?
I'll go to the galleries of the painter families. I think I will choose. Let's see, who is it that has the most luscious blue right now?
I believe if we look at those notes that I have, that is Omid Wahuma, the Wahuma family of painters.
I go to see their works, their gallery. I want to imagine what the night sky was like when it was stars and a clear yellow moon and not what it is now.
What is it now? If it's not a clear yellow moon, we know we see the stars, but if it's not a clear yellow moon, then what is it?
It's blue. I mean, it's gone bluish, and it's like it's just a lighter disk in the sky.
Like a ghost of the moon.
Exactly. It seems like it's a lot of the city has nightmares that it's fading. Does that make any sense? Because it's the last of the sort of natural light. The only thing that battles the column.
Excellent. Let's have you roll to indulge your vice.
Okay, let's see if this works. So I have to use my lowest.
Yes.
Okay.
So you will clear 6 stress.
Yes. Perfect.
Is that how much you had?
I think I had 7.
Oh, okay. So, Maria, you've got a couple other choices for what you'd like to do during downtime. So I'm going to go through them. I know you know them, but I'm going to go through them for everybody. Yeah. You could acquire an asset, like go and get something to help you out with another job, like get a wagon or a special person or goods or guards, things like that. You could do a long-term project, like research into something or building something. You can, if you are wounded, you can get treatment. You could also reduce your heat of your group by going and talking to people and chatting them up and trying to get your rep better. And you can also train. If you train, you mark 1 XP in one of the attributes or in your playbook.
I want to train my prowess, so that marks 2 XP instead because of our training.
Yeah. So do we see that montage of you fighting with those the training dolls, things like that? Okay.
And for the second one, I will I cannot train twice, so I cannot train my playbook.
No, you can train twice, but you can only train given XP track once per downtime.
Oh, is it like that?
Yeah, you can do it for you can do other ones.
All right, let me double check. All right, because I could have sworn it says you can only train once per.
I'm looking at the rules reference, and it says you can train a given XP track only once per downtime.
Oh, XP track. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So you've got 4 XP tracks.
All right. I think I want to train my playbook.
Okay. Mark a point there.
Yeah.
Rich, we're in downtime. You've already cleared your stress, so you're back up to full, right? You're good.
Yes. Yes, I am back up to full.
So what else would you like to do? I mean, get something for the group. Start like a long-term project, build up to something like establishing a friend or something. Could reduce the heat. Or you could train.
Let me look at our crew heat. It is 3.
3.
What does that mean? Is that bad? Is that good?
So the breakpoints are 0 to 3, 4 and 5, and then 6 and up. Whenever it goes past, whenever it hits the 10th box, we raise your wanted level by 1.
I see we're inferior right now, but barely. I'd like to try. Or I'm sorry. No, that was acquire asset. Reduce heat. 1 to 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Got it. So I say how I reduce heat on the crew.
Mhm.
I would like to place some of the blame on the screw up with the delivery and the dates and everything on strictly Alasia's feet. Just
That
put a
seem-
few words in ears.
Does that seem like sway or consort? Consort.
Let's
or-
go with
or-
consort. I haven't consorted in a while,
Okay.
like ever. This will be my first time consorting.
So what does that look like?
I think it is perhaps even with sorry, I didn't want to mess up the name. Even with Nusha on his arm, he visits some of the bazaar and he talks a little bit. Starts with other subjects and then just meanders around to, oh, did you hear about that problem with the dog? And that was all Leisha.
Yeah, I understood he let the goods go. Just let them go. Who would trust him?
I don't know. Not I. Not I at all.
Go ahead and roll consort.
Is that it controlled or what?
It's controlled standard. We actually then look at what you get on this little chart.
All right. No bonus dice.
So that's a 4 is your highest.
Yes.
You'll actually reduce your heat level by 2.
Lovely.
So it goes
Down.
to
Oh, you
1.
already did it. Okay, cool.
So people are listening to you. They know Leisha. He runs with some dim bulbs. Their lanterns are down low, and he is they are more than willing to buy that. There's probably a cut to Leisha somewhere hearing, oh, you know what they're saying about you, and he just gets angrier there, and we get that clock tick up on him coming back at you guys. Amir, what do you do then for the second part of this?
I'm sorry. What do you mean the second part?
So you get a second downtime action.
Oh, okay. Besides indulging my vice.
Yeah.
So how does training work? I can train one of my 3.
You can train one of your 3 attribute tracks, or you can train your playbook track.
Okay.
Train prowess, you mark 2 boxes.
Okay. And then what? Once I fill that track, I can fill a dot below? Yep. Okay. Yeah, I think that okay. Well, I'm not even sure what makes sense. I think I'll do the playbook.
Okay. Yeah, there's always fun stuff in the playbook.
Yeah.
There's always money in the banana stand, so there's always fun in the playbook.
So I mark one XP on the playbook, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. And what I did as sort of the fallout from your overindulgence is you kind of talked Leisha down, maybe told stories as you were gambling there, maybe a little bit louder than he meant to. So I moved his clock up by 1. Essentially, as word gets back to him that he gets a little more furious.
Yeah, I'm just kind of bad-mouthing him and laughing a little bit.
Yeah, though he's kind of in trouble because, of course, he made a deal with that sword school to do this, and that all went very, very well south. But you can point the fingers at you guys. Sherry, what do you want for your second downtime action?
Oh, I'm sorry. Can I interrupt? Because I just wanted to make sure that Matt was aware of this thing. So, Matt, you rolled desperate with command. And I'm seeing here under mark XP, every time you roll a desperate action, mark XP in that action's attribute. Did you do that?
Yeah, I did catch that eventually.
Awesome. I didn't even realize that was a thing until I was looking back. And Esta had one with command as well. Well, we are just desperate commanders. Baruch had one with finesse. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Sorry.
That's a
really neat thing about the die roller is that we can go back in the history for forgetful ignorant people like me. That's cool.
I love that. I love how the roller presents the numbers there. I think that's actually whoever did that. I mean, with a little fire and flames is so cool. Sherry, let's have your second downtime action.
Oof. So I guess let's do a project clock, huh? I will. I am working on a new ritual.
Okay. The rituals are an eight segment clock, or what does it say?
It says nothing on my sheet.
Okay, let me look.
You should give me a small sample one because I'm at the very beginning and we have scraps. Scraps, sir.
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening to you.
I know.
New ritual source. Okay. Long-term project. Yeah, it's an. I will say that you have a source at the start. That will make that easy, and it will start an 8-segment clock for you.
Okay.
Paste, and I will put a thing here. So for the long-term project, you roll a trait and mark segments on the project clock. So what trait do you want to roll?
I guess a tune.
Okay.
Since it's a ritual, doesn't that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, I am still not getting that box. I have all of these things, so it has.
Okay. Let
If you
me
could,
grab
please.
that for you. Hang on one
I don't
sec.
know if it's because I've got it undocked from.
That might be it.
Yeah, it's probably that.
Okay. So roll.
Oh, here it is.
So you've got a 6.
Yes.
Which means that you get 3 segments on the clock.
Right. It'll only be like 9. Well, maybe before our last session, I'll actually have a second spell. Woo
Don't
woo.
forget, you can always spend coin to boost those up.
I want to start a long-term project by spending coin to get a third downtime action.
Okay. So what do you want to do for your long-term project?
I was thinking some kind of device, some kind of weapon.
Okay. Well, we'll start the project, and we can figure out what it is when the project's finished. Does that seem cool?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
like I'm thinking of a weapon to attach to the boat, like some kind of not really turret, but yeah, turret.
Okay, that seems good to me. So spend your coin.
Yeah.
And roll your trait.
That's a 5.
5. So 5 means it's
Cool.
going to be 2 segments.
Very cool.
Okay, I've got that on the board. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do the XP dishing out because we've gone through all these procedural things. I'm going to dish out XP, and then I would like to do roses and thorns, though I'm dreading it. But I do want to go through that. So if you will bear with me,
All right.
I will go through that.
I don't think I hit any of my things except maybe the last one because I got a trauma.
That makes sense. Well, I want to talk about that. So we look at your playbook specific XP trigger. So Rich, what is the XP trigger listed in your playbook?
I don't know.
Scroll down on your playbook.
So
You addressed a challenge with subterfuge or influence. Do you think you did?
not effectively.
But did you address a challenge with it? You don't have to succeed.
Felt like trying to get the heat off of us might have been that. Maybe.
Okay. Yeah. Plus, you used command. You were trying to negotiate, so you can get an XP for that.
Okay.
So 2 XP because it happened multiple times.
If it happened a lot during the session. Well, I'll be generous. Normally, I don't I do when it's a lot. I read that as like a lot.
I
face
read
to face. So,
I think-
but in this case, I will do it since we're doing a short run session.
Okay.
well, it says if it occurred multiple times. So multiple being, I read that as more than one.
Right, but that's just in the character sheet. I think Lowell's coming
Right.
from the
No,
book,
I'm
right?
I'm looking at the PC
Oh,
advancement.
okay.
And this is how I've generally handled it. So that's what I'm saying there. Okay.
All right.
There's a little bit of GM's discretion on
Yeah.
this, which I am using. Rich, there's another question: did you express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background? Now, this question, these are yours to define. If you didn't do something, you could tell us something about yourself, and you get to mark XP for that if you want. You can do that right now. So specifically, when you're marking XP, you can tell us about it. So
where are beliefs?
oh, this is just it's what your how you've defined your character. It's not a
Hold on, wait, I don't have dice and beliefs? Fucking shocked. Okay. Shit. Well, no, nothing to do with heritage. Background of trade, yeah. No, because I think the way he addressed challenges were like that.
Do you want to tell us something about your character right now? And you can. I mean, that's part of the reason that we have this is that if you want to tell us something, like something we would see or something that you do. Where does he sleep? Where does he go home to lay his head down to rest? Is it well appointed? Is it Spartan? What is that like?
Well, he sleeps in the clock tower.
So he actually lives in the lair.
Yeah, he lives in the lair.
Why does he live in the lair rather than having his own place to go?
It's cheaper.
Wait. Does the lair even have quarters? Because that's one of the advanced things.
It doesn't have quarters yet.
So he is sleeping on a cot down in the
I sleep with the pillows in the meeting room. Like I have to fetal position it, but yeah, I got thrown out of my last apartment.
Do the others know that you sleep there?
No, I leave, and then I'll trail back around like 1 a.m. and just go up to me. I'm always early. Always early. Good morning, my friends. Yes, I'm early. Went for a walk.
The last to leave.
Yeah. Went to the bazaar. Look, I have some cheese.
I love it. Mark an XP for that. That's great.
Okay.
And then the last thing is about vice or traumas. We didn't struggle with that, so we don't have to worry about that.
Okay.
Next, we come to Amir. Amir, did you hit your playbook specific XP trigger?
So address the challenge with stealth or violence. I would say violence. That might make sense.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
You knocked up a drawer. So
Yeah. Caused a bit of a ruckus.
Yeah, you did. Let's you did that a couple of times, so I'll give you the 2 points for that.
Alrighty.
Did you express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background?
I don't think so. No.
So tell us something about yourself then.
So Amir is kind of, since we'll call it his life change, he's kind of estranged from his family, but he does have a large family, and he spends quite a bit of, I guess you would call it his downtime, just observing them in their everyday lives. So, and often they might think that like, oh, I thought I saw Amir in the market today, or I thought I saw Amir's face when I looked out the window, but they pass it off as just imagination. But in reality, he is in a lot of those places, just kind of looking in on his family.
Is he sad or is he being protective? What is that his reaction?
I'd say he's almost trying to. He's not sad, and he's not necessarily protective. It's more like he thinks he should feel something, so he's kind of just like searching for that feeling. But there's nothing there.
Perfect. Mark an XP for that. And don't forget, these XP, you can put them wherever you want.
Oh, okay.
Don't have to put them on the playbook. You can put them on a stat track. It's up to you.
Oh, I didn't know that, but whatever.
Oh,
Yep.
I might
wherever you want.
reconfigure some of my XP choices then, if that's okay.
Mark end of session XP on any XP you tracks you want.
Okay.
Yeah, and you definitely get a point for your overindulgence.
All right. Sounds good.
Because you cause more trouble for yourself. Maria, playbook specific XP trigger.
Rhetoric or destruction did not happen. Express your beliefs, drives heritage or background. Not really.
Do you want to tell us something about yourself?
Now that he's paranoid, that's why he's making the fucking turret on the boat, because he's paranoid as fuck right now.
Okay. So that's expressing himself and like diving into his machinations.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll give you a point for that.
And struggle with issues from your vice dramas during the session. I gained that drama, so does that count?
I'll give you a point, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Sherry.
Hey, so
playbook specific XP trigger.
Yeah, I addressed a challenge with planning or teamwork. I think I did that. I assisted people fairly consistently. I used command and skirmish and those things to assist. And then I also I was trying to protect the others by sending off those other guys.
Okay.
So
I'll give you 2.
Thanks. I'll take 2. And then
express
my beliefs, drives, heritage, background. So I think at the beginning when I was talking about my character, I said that essentially I've sort of clung to the idea of Irfan because she is so cut off and distant after the death of her husband and really at loose ends. So I think that like somehow because the people in the neighborhood like Irfan, doing things for Irfan is super important to her because that's the way that maybe she can make ties again, even though she doesn't really work it that way in her head. But it's sort of like he's a star that she's moored her hopes on. Not in any romantic way, but just in the most prosaically comforting human way.
That sounds perfect. We'll go ahead and give you an XP for that.
Okay. And did I struggle with issues? No, I just saw lovely things. My vice is the most wonderful of vices.
It can still go terribly wrong.
It will someday.
So you executed a successful smuggling action, so you get a crew XP. I think you contended with challenges above your station, given that there was a second tier group there. There was there. Did you bolster your crew's reputation? Did you do anything to bolster your reputation as honorable people?
That would have been what? We delivered. We told the truth. They just didn't listen.
We delivered on a deal that we were kind of cut out of.
Okay. Yeah, and you dealt pretty fairly with Bellet Sunu, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll give you a point for that, for your crew. And did you express the goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential nature of your crew? This one's very broad. Did you do anything that highlighted specific elements of your crew?
We tried to negotiate. It didn't go well, but we went in with nonviolent hopes.
Okay.
And then they tried to stab our tinker. So.
Okay. So that goes on your crew. There's a single track for that. All right. With all that XP stuff done and beliefs, drives, heritage, and background, not having dice rolls, we have time, if we could, to talk about the game, to do the roses and thorns. This can be about how I ran it, how the system works, what we did in play, what you'd like to see more of, what you'd like to see less of, all of that kind of thing. I will say one thing is, it takes some getting used to handling this online for me. I'm still working through that. It's still rough. At the table, it's a little bit easier with the moving parts. It's also the challenge of, as I said, the 4-person crew versus the 6-person crew in terms of how hard to hit or how not hard to hit, because this is early days. So that's stuff I have to get squared away. So I have to think about that. Rich, do you want me to start or end with you?
You can start with me. That's fine.
Okay, well, let's start with you then.
Do you normally do Roses and Thorns on air? I can't remember.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, he does.
So, love you, Lowell. You are one of my best friends. I have not been this angry while playing a game that I'm unfamiliar with since Apocalypse World. The first time I played Apocalypse World, I was so incredibly frustrated with that game because it was so foreign and just made no sense to my brain.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's good and bad because I happen to like Powered by the Apocalypse games now. And that's what I tell myself as I struggle through this game.
And you had this experience. You had this experience before when you played Blades in the Dark too, right?
That was partially due to the GM making some really ham-fisted calls and trying to assert their authority without really reading the rules that caused a lot of the frustration. But I came in with the trepidation of, so I started with play by post, and it was a very light thing. It was like one crew, and it was like really, really light. There were literal whole like big white spaces on the character sheets at that time that I played it because it was so early on. So I don't feel like that was a true understanding of what this would end up being. And then I played a version like F, Playtest Draft F during the development, and that's when I played it with some friends online, and it sucked. But I think a lot of the suck was us not knowing what we're doing and the GM really hosing it. So I still held out some hope, but I didn't do due diligence, right? I didn't sit down and read through this stuff. I didn't prepare myself for a game that I feared would be pretty dense. So I absolutely, that's a thorn on me.
Well, let me ask you, for me, from that, in terms of if you can point to anything that you think I could do to make that experience better for you, because I do want to. And if you want to, we can talk about this later off,
Sure.
if you have a chance to think about it. I don't want to put you on the spot right now.
No, I got no problems dissing Blades in the Dark. Doesn't hurt my feelings at all.
Well, no, but
I sound like an ignoramus because there's so many people who love it and they're going to be super defensive, but they can get over it. So Blades in the Dark, the complaint I've had from the read-through of the rules kind of came through. Like, where's the parts where I play my character? Where's the shit where I talk in funny voices? Like, everything is mechanized. Everything has its own discrete thing to mark and scene that you have to do. And you do this now, and you do this now, and you do this now. And things don't really happen. They just, this is coming. Okay, I'll do a roll. Okay, now it's true. This is coming. Okay, I'll do a roll. Okay. Oh, no, this is true. This whole other thing that wasn't involved in this is like this new thing that's true. Okay, I want to do a thing. All right, let's go through these 5 steps before you roll dice. No, wait. This other person wants to do a thing. There's a 6th step. It's like, wow. Like, I have to work hard to actually do the game part because there's so many. I like to drop behind the eyes of the character.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And just play. And the mechanics will come along when we stumble into it. Everything's like up here. It's all up here. It's very board gamey feel to me. It's very 5th edition or 4th edition actually D&D.
Okay.
Like there are all these like conversations that happen before we ever drop in, and then we actually try to do the thing. But then we got to come back up here, and then we drop back in, and it's really jarring to me. You know me about flow and
oh yeah, no.
With Pelgrane Press games and the whole aspect of those not Gumshoe but Hillfolk of that process. So yeah, super not fun, but I'm going to stick it through. I have faith in this group of players. I feel like it will get more comfortable over time, but like there were times where I felt stressed. Like I'm so confused and there's so many things going on. It was really uncomfortable. And
I will try to be super aware of that and to help you work through that. And I appreciate you saying that, as I knew you were struggling, not feeling it, and I'm going to work on that. Okay.
Sure. And I will also, like, I'm going to try to take, because it's got this nice little helpful player kit, this 32 fucking pages, but that's fine. I'll read through it and work through it because it's like the quick start of 32 pages. But I also realize that if you take out the playbooks, that it's more like 10 pages. So that's doable.
There are just a couple pages that have the what you really need to know.
Yeah,
so.
it's doable.
Okay.
I'm a smart aleck, so I can't.
All right. We'll keep checking in with you on this. Okay.
Cool.
Matt.
Yes.
Thorns.
Yeah, I guess I want to echo Rich a little bit in that. I mean, this is on me. I mean, I have not even read the rules of Blades in the Dark, and I've had the PDF for a little while, but I just never haven't had the opportunity. So I think I could be a little more familiar with this. I mean, that said, it is much more complex than I was expecting. So, but I did very little, background on it. So, yeah, that was a little disconcerting, but I mean, it's kind of intuitive. Like at least that sheet helps a lot. Playing without that would be, I think, a little challenging. I just like that the rules were automated. So that was very helpful. Yeah, and I don't know. Yeah, I think you're doing a great job of presenting.
And I think that's fair because one of the promises I made in the game description was teaching the rules. Yeah. And so that's on me for. I think I pressed ahead, and I glossed over mechanics and stuff. So we're going to work through that. We're going to set. And yeah, it is a lot of moving parts. So I think that's a fair complaint.
Well, no, I think you're doing a decent job with it. I mean, I didn't feel like you're leaving us behind or something like that. Yeah, no, I'm getting a good sense of it. As things emerge. Yeah, you did a nice job of just kind of explaining what they were.
I just want to jump in and say, Matt, I'm so thankful that you are here because Maria way ahead and like arguing with Lowell, and Sherry knows, like, she just kind of works through stuff. And so there are times when I'm like, oh my God, which thing do I click of the 40 blue zillion things I can click on the sheet? And to have you to know you're here with me and you're on my level, it's very helpful. Yeah, so thankful.
Totally.
Maria, thorns?
My biggest fucking thorn is on Aaron Jesus for making me traumatized, like not even halfway through the score. So there's that.
Yeah. That was a bad series, and early on,
yeah. But yeah, that's literal. That, like, I can't say anything else because I wasn't doing anything.
Yeah, I kind of don't like that getting stressed like that takes you out of the scene in the rules. But yeah. Well, random number generator. Let's hope it is kinder to you in the future.
Let's hope. Yes.
Sherry, thorns.
Well, I'm dismayed with myself that it took me the whole session to figure out that it was because I'd undocked my character sheet that I couldn't see that thing. So
who would have known? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So anyway, once I docked it again, then it was there. Of course, it was hidden under my sheet, but it was there. So anyway, and here I work in IT, so you think I would have did this thing to it? Yeah. Anyway. So I'm an idiot. And I will say that when we're playing this, I am familiar with all of these mechanics and stuff. But it does feel weird to me to have Lowell like running these introductory things and he's mashing all the rules in because he is trying to teach it. When he played it tabletop, he just did some of the systems a little bit. Like each session, he brought in another system. We lived with that system, and then he brought in another one down the line once we got comfortable with it, which would be, if we had that leisure of time, a far more comfortable way to approach that.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, we literally played for the first 3 sessions, I think, with just the whole thing of, you know, roll your skill, you can resist, roll to resist, you know, and getting that feel for what that looks like and how you talk about and how you keep that in that sort of fiction, if that makes any sense. It's one of the things that, because you're just hearing it, you're like, whoa, when it hits, like you say, it takes you out and all of that stuff. But once you get comfortable with it, you're like, okay, I'm going to do this thing. If something goes bad, there's these outcomes. So you kind of already got your sort of how you're positioning yourself for the situation. And then when you get the role, you're like, it's like, you know, you're sort of offering what you think is going to happen. Lowell will make it 10 times worse. And then you resist and you tell a little story of what the resist looks like. But I mean, it's a lot more natural. But yeah, we got all of it. And so it's like, this is how we're playing now, except that we're all very comfortable with the fiction side of it. I don't know how else to say it. It's, what do you say? Every system, if you get used to it, you can run a game in it or play a game in it. So it's just, you're getting it all at once. All of it.
I think that's fair. And it's a problem with the structuring of it. So we'll get better, I hope. That's all I can say on that. Let me talk roses. And in some ways, this sort of echoes Rich's thorns. The moments where we drilled down and I got to hear the voices of the characters, Maria freaking out and running, Rich talking to the guy, Sherry in the initial scene, Amir with his vice dealer. Those are the good moments. Those are the moments that I was like, oh yeah, I like these characters. I heard their voices. You guys took the moments and work with those, and I liked those, and it shines through that there is something very cool here and a really strong potential. So that's my rose. Rich?
Yeah, I felt like, I'm sorry, I can't speak a whole lot about our RP moments, but I really like the kind of mental canon image I have of Amir and his dog. Like, by the way, do we have a name for the dog? I don't remember us using the name of the dog, but like,
no, he's nameless so far.
That's right.
Lucky. He's lucky.
Okay, cool. So it was kind of cool how we have this like remote drone. There's a dog. It's kind of neat. Well, I will say the mixing of 2 of us in the warehouse, 2 in the alley, and that mix and match and kind of bouncing back and forth. I like the pacing of that. I think you did a good job of making sure that you were not letting any scene rest for too long. That's just a skill set you have. It's innate to you, so it's really great. Maria, I know that you were very unhappy at failing a role, but it was interesting to see you went with it. You know, you didn't try to fight it. You let the terrible decision happen. You embraced it. That was cool. I was also like, oh God, is Maria going to take our boat? Are we totally hosed? Like, I felt a little nervous about that, and I thought that was amusing. And Sherry, I really like the embodiment of Esta and the way she approaches the world, and I love that I got to name us the Esta's Troublemakers, which is a terrible name for a smuggling group. This may be the worst name ever that I've ever thought of in my life.
Yes, well,
the Esta part's good, but Troublemakers is a really bad idea for smugglers.
Yeah, exactly.
Why didn't somebody shoot
on
me
the
down?
nose? Yeah, it went by too fast.
Yeah. Matt, any roses?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just going to keep it general. I mean, yeah, for my first experience playing the...
Here, Mike.
Yep.
Can you move your mic down?
Yeah, it's just the mic. Yeah.
Oh.
Yep. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I think I'm just going to keep it general. I mean, for my first experience playing this game, I mean, it's a little overwhelming, but that said, like, I think I'm excited to play again. So I think that I can spread that around equally. I think we have some good players, and Lowell, I think I'm really appreciating that you're taking the time to do this in like a teaching mode.
Well, thank you. I hope we can at the end you're like, okay, I kind of have a sense of how this works. I could explain it to someone else.
Yeah. Nice.
That's the end goal, I think. Maria?
I have to apologize because my only rose so far is the richest character's voice, because I am so salty about that, about RNGesus, and so tired because it's 10 fucking past 10 fucking a.m. PM, sorry, PM, not AM. But yeah, I'm tired. I haven't had coffee. I had really shitty rolls in general.
Yeah.
I'll give my rose to Rich.
Sherry, you get last word.
I like the characters. I like our potential. This is a game that, as much as anything, is actually made for a campaign. So we're going to essentially get to that point where we just get a taste of what could be. But I'm already liking the ingredients, so that's awesome.
And definitely next time we're going to be starting with me kind of talking with you about what you do to set up the smuggling thing, what you're trying to embroil people in, what your day-to-day lives are. That's usually what I do after downtime when we play it face to face. Is there's a gap of people going and talking to people and meeting their friends and doing the RP stuff. So hopefully we're going to start with that next time. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate this. It's a learning experience all around. We will see, and I'll have this up so the rest of the Gauntlet can laugh at how badly I handled it. So
I don't think you handled it badly at all, Lowell.
No, definitely not.
You ran the game. All my
true.
complaints are about like the bits. There's just so many bits, and it's a lot to learn. And I'm whiny. It's really.
All right, I'm going to stop the broadcast on that note.